So one of the cool things about our Inspires is that it's smart enough uh, with user, uh, as long as the user can know how to do it. It's smart enough to recognize that that is a minimum and that is a maximum. We got to tell it to look for that though. So how we do that is we have our graph, right? So we type in our equation, we hit enter, we graph it. And then after that, we're going to go to menu. We want to analyze our graph. And when you hit analyze graph, you're going to see this sub menu pop up, right? So, and it gives us all of these different things that the graph or the calculator can do for us, right? So zeros is another word for x-intercept. So it actually finds x-intercepts for us. We can find minimum, we can find maximum, we can find a point of intersections, et cetera, right? And so in this case, you just got to tell it what exactly are you looking for. So the very first thing I'm looking for is a minimum, right? So you see how it kind of drops this line and you can move it left and right. And so you want to highlight the part where you want the calculator to look for your minimum, right? So I'm not going to highlight over here because there's no minimum there. The minimum is right here, right? So, but you want to highlight that part. So we're going to choose somewhere to the left. I'm going to push OK or push the middle button. And you see how it starts making gray, right? So once it starts highlighting part, it's going to be searching for what is the lowest Y value in this section that I'm highlighting, right? So if you notice, there's nothing highlighted over here, so there's no values. If I only highlight this part, then it gives me this point here because that is the that's the lowest Y value that it's highlighting, right? And so if I keep going, keep going, keep going, right? And I highlight this now, uh, you can see that it's highlighting the actual point down at the bottom, right? But if I keep going, that minimum changes, and if you notice that it's calling the minimum this furthest point to the right over here, which we know it's not a minimum, but it's calculated to be the minimum because it thinks that is the lowest Y value. So it's very important that you highlight only what you need, right? So I know I'm gonna go over here somewhere, and I'm gonna push OK again, so that it gives me my actual minimum point, right? And so we do it again. So menu, analyze graph, and this time we're looking for a maximum, right? And kind of the same concept applies. I'm not going to choose anything over here because it's going to name the highest point as a minimum or the maximum. I'm sorry. I know the maximum is somewhere here, so I'm going to choose somewhere so that it's highlighted in this domain, and then that's gonna give me my actual maximum points, right? So it says I have a maximum at x equals 0.577, and the maximum value, right? So the y value, the highest y value, is 0.385. Now, because this graph goes up forever and down forever, there's no absolute max or absolute min, right? These are just relative min, relative max.